First, let me begin by commending Spain and the Vice President for her comments. Taxes are necessary to address inequality. Inequality is bad for society, for the economy. I wrote a book called The Price of Inequality, the price we pay, our economy pays for the economy, but also the broader social cost and the political cost. I think the United States is now paying part of that price with the capture of our government by the techno-oligarchs. We use the word oligarchy to describe what was happening in Russia in a pejorative way, but the reality is that America has become captured by the oligarchs. Now, part of that agenda is, their agenda is to lower taxes on the rich who have amounts of wealth that is hard to envision. So it's, and if you look at the inequality in the United States, it's far larger than in other advanced countries. So we have this curious thing that the political agenda of the current administration is to lower the taxes on the rich in order, and to pay for that, they're cutting out health care for the poor. In fact, even the independent Congressional Budget Office has said that this is the most regressive tax bill that has ever been put forward. Now, that agenda of increasing inequality, letting the rich escape taxation, Trump wants to make global. For 14 years, we focused on this, trying to get a global minimum tax. And there were negotiations and agreement. It was difficult to get an agreement, but it was achieved. And then, to me, it is heartbreaking to see what has happened where the G7 seems to have caved in and in one day, 1 hour, destroyed 14 years of global governance and made a mockery of the whole process of the inclusive framework, which was supposed to say everybody was at the table. It was 6 countries besides the United States that gave in and said, effectively, we're destroying the global minimum tax. Well, I hope the story isn't over, because only a few of the European countries were in the G7. A majority of the European countries were not at that table. So Europe can say, well, France may have caved, Italy may have caved, but we're not caving as the EU. We are not going to allow the U.S. to bully them. The issue, if you allow this to happen, will go over and over again. And it happened almost immediately afterwards. The digital services tax. Trump attacked Canada for having a digital services tax. There was an international agreement that if Pillar 1 was not agreed to and ratified, countries had the right to impose digital taxes. The digital companies are the richest companies in the world. The digital companies have made part of their money by tax avoidance. In Europe, they excelled. They moved all their money to Ireland and then claimed, taking advantage of loopholes in the Irish law, the total taxes they were paying were, I think it was about 0.05% of their profits in taxes, essentially zero. So, but the U.S. said that it would impose tariffs on Canada if it didn't get rid of its digital tax. Canada capitulated. It hasn't agreed yet to be the 51st state, but this is the first step in the way. I'm joking. That's not going to happen. But, but the point is, the rest of the world simply cannot be bullied by the United States. It undermines democracy. It undermines global governance. It undermines the progress that has been made in the creation of a United Nations since 1944. Now, let me speak just very, very briefly about the specific issue going forward on tax cooperation, which is the world has been making some progress. The African Union put a proposal to the UN for a tax convention. And over the objection of the United States, the world came together and started this tax convention. And progress is being made. There are terms of references that were agreed to. So what I want to emphasize is that the world can't be held hostage. It can go forward. There can be coalitions of the willing. It will take voice, it will take work, it will take risk-taking, because the threats will be there. The instrument to destroy our democracy and to destroy global governance is fear, threats, and one can't give in to those threats. Let me just finally say, the outcome document agreed to for Seville points to the possibility, I think, of this new multilateralism. The world, for Seville, countries came together. U.S. walked out of the room, and that provided an opportunity, because historically, the way the U.S. has played the game is it stays in the room, waters down the agreement, gets a weaker and weaker agreement, and then at the end says, oh, we're not going to sign it anyway. Now it's at least cleaner. They've walked out of the room. You got a good agreement. And now the coalition of willing can go forward.
Thank you so much, Professor. Director